All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Power Hour. I'm Dave Kauffman and I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes or so in what I call the Power Hour. Bring it to you live every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube, we're on Zoom, and we got the phone lines wide open as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I am excited to share with you what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to talk about birds today. I'm going to talk about geese. And we're going to jump right into it. So without further ado, the title of this lesson is going to be the 7 life and leadership lessons we can learn from geese. That's right, birds, geese. Now, I know some of you are going to want to ask me a question, and it's about the V formation in a line of geese, and somebody's going to say, do you know why there's more geese in one line than the other, or why one side of the line is longer? And I know the answer. It's a joke. I've wore that out since I was a kid, so no need to tell me that joke. I already know it. But I was always intrigued by geese, and in Georgia where I grew up, I remember in the fall you'd start seeing geese start heading north, and then they come south again later on in the year, and they were always in a V-type formation. And so I've over the years I've kind of studied it, and then recently somebody just sent me a video that I watched, and it kind of rekindled that idea of things that we can actually learn from geese. And so over the years, studies have shown that there are a lot of lessons we can learn from geese when it comes to leadership. And those of you that know me know that I love speaking about the concept of leadership, the idea of leadership, and the principles of leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I think there's a lot that we can learn. It is important to develop the skills of a good leader in different ways, all of which impact your ability to lead well in the current environment. Now, here's the thing. Your environment does not stay the same. You are not the same person that you were a year ago because you are constantly moving through different environments in your life. My environment changed in one day because my dad passed away, and I became a different person. I experienced life in a much deeper, different way after that, and from that moment on. And so we're constantly changing as an individual. We're constantly in a different environment in our lives. And so a good leader knows how to adapt to those changing environments and how to lead during those types of changes. And so the role of a leader is to know how to guide them into those places, how to guide people, your team, your company. If you're a pastor, how to guide them into those changing places, using and developing skills that will motivate their people to want to follow you. And, my friend Luke Kipfer, a leadership expert, says, become a leader worth following. So authentic leaders engage their team. I want you to write these things down. Authentic leaders, number 1, engage their team. And number 2, generate movement. In other words, they get them to move out of where they are and into a different place. We're going to talk a little bit about feeling uncomfortable a little bit later on today. But a good leader is able to encourage his or her people to move out of their comfort zone into a place that is not comfortable. And a good leader would do that. They'll engage the team, generate movement, and create a space where ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. They engage their team, generate movement, and it creates space where ordinary people can generate extraordinary results. And so let me ask you a question. When was the last time that one of your team members has created something amazing or did something amazing, extraordinary because of your leadership? I want you to think about that. Authentic leaders engage their team, generate movements, and create a space where regular people, employees, your kids, if you're a pastor, your church people can achieve extraordinary results. So, what are you as a leader? You're a space maker. You create an environment where great things can happen, and you have to do that by leading them through the different environments that they're in. So, here are the 7 life and leadership lessons that we can learn from Geese. Number 1, geese fly together and they share. Geese fly in a perfect V formation. Studies have shown that flying in this way and using this kind of teamwork adds 71% more flying range than the geese that fly on their own. 71% longer range, more durability, more production, more distance traveled when you fly in a V formation. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about life and leadership lessons from geese that we can learn from geese. Studies have shown that flying in a V formation and using this kind of teamwork, and we're going to talk about what that teamwork means, creates 71% more flying range. In other words, they can go over twice the distance than they could if they were by themselves. Here's the truth of the matter. You and I were not meant to live life on an island by ourselves. You and I were not meant to live life and do life by ourselves. We're meant to have that community. We're meant to have that togetherness. We're meant to have those differences. And those differences create an uplifting, a forward movement, and an ongoing position in our leadership when we are together. And that's my prayer, that as companies and as churches and as leaders and as the political system, that we can start coming together so that we can go farther and go longer. And our country has become so divided politically that we can't even go anywhere. And it's time we have a leader that brings us together and stops dividing us and brings us together for a one purpose. And I'm not going to get into politics, but we can do it better when we're together and not divided. And we as a country have to figure that out. How do we get back to the United States of America? I have my ideas. It has to do with doing away with media. Yeah, anyway, I said I'm not going to get into politics. All right. So 71% more flying range in the geese than it flies on their own. This is because each bird flaps its wings. It creates an uplift that reduces air friction for the birds that follow. Okay, so you get the idea of what leadership is. Leadership is being in front, breaking the barriers, breaking the trail and blazing the trail and making it easier for the people behind us. That's what leadership is. Here's the lesson. People who share a common goal and direction can get where they're going much faster and more efficiently because they benefit from the momentum of the group. This is what I ask my coaching clients all the time. I say, let's say that you have a company of 20 to 30 employees. And if I would give each one of your employees a .22 rifle and tell them to go back behind your shop and shoot at the target, but I'm not going to tell you what the target is. And I send them out there one by one, each with a gun, one by one, and they have to decide what they think is the target. What are the chances of all 20 employees picking the same target? I think you would agree with me that it's very, very slim that every person would pick the same thing. Now, what if I told your same 20 people that the target is the, whatever, it can be the red bucket on a fence post, and it's back there, and I want you to go shoot at the target. How many of those people, the 21 or 20 employees that you have, if I told them to go out and shoot at the red bucket on the fence post, how many do you think would pick the same target then? And that's the idea of having a common goal and direction. And you work together as a team and you can get there much faster. And so when I go into a company, I check and see which way the guns are pointed. If they're pointed one to the left, one to the north, one to the south, one straight ahead, and they're shooting lead all over the place, yeah, they're shooting. They're shooting at what they think is the target, but that is not the target. And so I want all guns pointed in the same direction when it comes to mission, vision, and purpose, and why we're doing what we're doing. I don't want to be a lead slinger. I want to be a target practice. All right. Okay, people who share common goal and direction can get where they're going much faster and much more efficiently because they benefit from the momentum of the group. So, number one, fly together, share a common goal and direction, do everything as a team, and do everything as a team for the same reason. Number two, geese stay in formation. They stay in formation. Whenever a goose does fall out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and the resistance of trying to fly alone. Remember, as if you're flying in that V formation, the flapping of the wings of the bird in front of you makes it easier for you to flap your wings, makes it easier for the people in the back to flap their wings. And so when I get out of formation, I have all the headwind on me alone. There's nobody sharing the load. And so they quickly get back in formation because how many of you like to struggle? It seems like it. It seems like a lot of my clients like to struggle, and that they finally get tired of struggling, and then they call me, and I help them get back in alignment as a team, and I help the team to get in alignment to where we lift each other up, and we stop struggling, and we start going towards the mission, the vision, and the purpose of our company, and we start firing our guns, like I said earlier, at one target instead of 21 different directions. And so geese stay in formation. So they try to get back to formation quickly. This formation not only makes it easier for the birds to fly, but it increases the flock's overall visibility too, as well as their power to be seen. So when we all fly together, when we all are working towards the same thing, guess what? We're much more visible to our clients. We're much more visible to our competitors. We're much more visible to our sphere of influence when we work together and we stay in formation. Here's the lesson. Once you have established a good team, stay together and work together. Synergy can be created by a single person working in isolation. So it's important to, synergy cannot be created by a single person working in isolation. Synergy means that you're working together and things are working in the same direction. And so it has to be created by a group. So it's more important to stick together. A sense of community emerges from a willingness to work together as a team. Not only is it more efficient, but together you have better visibility of your surroundings and common goals. Number three, geese rotate roles. They encourage the leader and empower others to lead. There's three things in number three here. Number one, they rotate roles, they encourage the leader, and they empower others to lead. For instance, for the lead goose in the formation, drag is high. He or she is the one that's hitting the wind. It's the one that is breaking the barrier. It's the one that is in front. There's no one in front to support the first person. All right. When the lead goose in the formation tires, it rotates back into the formation and another goose takes its place. That is a key part of leadership. Those of you that have been in any of my leadership trainings, you know that one of the things that I say over and over, that your job is not complete as a leader until you replace another leader and you pass the baton on to that person. You create and you replace your leadership roles. I'm just going to break your heart right now. As a leader, You're not that important to be the leader forever. Your job as a leader is to create other leaders and create a position where that they can actually take the lead, where you don't always have to be the one in the front. I'm going to let that sit in a little bit. You're not that important to always be the leader forever. You got to understand that you have to share it, or else you're going to get burned out. The lead goose then immediately feels the advantage of lifting power from the bird immediately in front of it. So imagine this. You're a goose and you have a pack of 30 geese behind you. They're all in the V, but you're the first one, and you're the ones that is breaking the headwinds. You're the ones that's plowing through. You have no one supporting you. And then you get tired and you say, "Hey buddy, come on up here. Let me train you for this position. You need to have the spotlight once in a while. I need to rest." And you go back and you trade places with 2 or 3 geese behind you. And all of a sudden your job is easy because you have developed a leader and put them into a position of power and responsibility. And then you're coaching. You're encouraging, just like they were encouraging you, hopefully. And so you have to understand that in order to be a great leader, you must also be a great follower. Woo! I'm going to say that again. In order to be a great leader, you must also be a great follower. Every great leader follows something. And if you don't follow, you're going to get burned out. If you don't follow, you're going to lose out on momentum. If you don't follow, you're not going to be inspired for the next storm, and you're going to burn out and you're going to cave in because you don't have the self-care and the love of your team to say, "You know what? Somebody else take the lead on this one." You've got to do that. You've got to learn how to follow. Here's the lesson. It is important to share the load amongst team members. We should not only be able to admit when help is needed, but we should also work to empower those around us to take the lead as well. Everyone has different skills and capabilities, and sharing the load gives others a chance to shine. Expecting one person to take on all the work is unrealistic. People work better when interdependent with one another. Guys, I really appreciate everybody coming on the phone lines. That's really encouraging to see so many people here. So welcome. So we're talking about life and leadership lessons that we can learn from geese. And number 4, geese are noisy birds. They recognize and support each other. Okay? They're noisy birds. That's how you know they're flying overhead, because you can hear them. There are a number of theories as to why geese honk between them. One is that they honk to encourage each other. Another theory is that the honking is used to communicate where each goose is in the formation. All right. So when I go work with a company, usually my second on-site visit for that company, when I go work in their company and we're working on teams and we're working on communication, I like to put a blindfold on every team member. If it's a large company, we break them up. But I have like 10 people on a team, and they're all blindfolded. And in the middle of the room, there's a 50-foot rope. And their job is to make a perfect square out of that rope while being blindfolded. They sound, or a lot of times, they sound like a bunch of geese, and it requires telling people where you are and communicating and checking in often. And that's the key to getting this job done, is communication. And so geese are noisy birds. They recognize and support each other. And so the lesson here: in groups where there is encouragement, the productivity is greater. Okay. When there is negativity in the group, the productivity goes down. All right. So where there is encouragement, the productivity is greater. In a fast-paced working environment, remembering to provide recognition and encouragement towards each other, including the leaders, is vital to keep teams motivated and achieving their goals. Okay. So number 5, leave no goose behind. They stand by their flock in good times and bad. When a goose gets sick or wounded, 2 other geese will drop out of the formation and follow it down and help it recover, or they stay there until it dies. And then those 2 or hopefully 3 will get back into maybe a different formation, or maybe they'll catch up with the formation. But they stay back and they help each other. I've seen this so many times when a team member gets hurt, not physically, that too, but also when they're down, like emotionally down, depressed. Other team members tend to just kind of move away from that person, and that's really when they need that support. That's when they need that hunking. That's when they need that encouragement. They need their closest friends to stay close to them and help them get through it. Here's the lesson: stand by each other in difficult times. It's easy to always be part of a winning team, but when things get difficult and people are facing challenges, that is when your relevance as a teammate comes to the fore. Number 6, geese maintain priorities. They stay committed to their team, their core values, and purpose. The geese migration routes do not vary. They do not vary. So if you see a line of geese going north or heading south, whichever way they're going, they have been on that route before. And they use that route until the day that they die. They always use the same route, even when flock members change. Here's the lesson: stay true to your core values. Stay true to your purpose. Stay true to your mission. Stay true to your vision, your MVP. You hear me talk about this all the time. Mission, vision, and purpose. Stay true to your core values. Strategies, tactics, and products may change in order for the organization to remain agile, but great teams always stick to their core values and preserve them at all costs. And so your route never changes. How you do things never changes, but can change, but why you do things should never change. Stay true to your values. And the last one, geese they're disruptive. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Geese often seem unflustered as they meander along the side of a busy road. However, they are most likely uncomfortable being surrounded by large and noisy vehicles. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but they're in parks where there's lots of people. They're out beside the road, a busy highway a lot of times. They're in the middle of a field with tractors going back and forth. And they're probably not very comfortable, but they're doing something necessary. They're getting the substance that they need for their journey. They're feeding, they're taking care of each other. And the lesson here, disruption means getting a bit uncomfortable. I've often tell my clients, I've often tell my team, we have to be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. That kind of makes your head spin. You have to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. In other words, you'll never grow in your comfort. Comfort is for sissies. I don't want you to be comfortable. I don't want you at a place of rest forever. I want you to be disruptive. I want you to challenge what you're doing and keep moving. You cannot stay where you're comfortable and expect to have bigger and better blessings. You have to go through some tough times in order to have bigger and better blessings. Some of the greatest people that I know, Some of the people that have the greatest story of overcoming and the challenges in life have the greatest challenges that I've ever met, but they embraced it and they moved through it. And that's why they're impacting lives, because they embraced the uncomfortable. So disruption means getting a bit uncomfortable. Those who disrupt challenge themselves by setting and achieving goals. They come out of their comfort zone and stretch themselves to think differently. So I want you to be like a goose. I want you to find this formation. I want you to find this team. I want you to find your flock. And I want you to be the leader, but not forever. I want you to train other leaders. I want you to develop other leaders, and I want you to give them the opportunity to make a decision, to feel the wind of leadership, and develop them and give them the chance to work out their muscles, to work out their leadership. One of the greatest things that I believe a leader can do is to create an environment where leadership can be practiced. If you want to build your muscles, you got to go to the gym. You have to go to an environment where muscle building is possible. And you got to practice bodybuilding. You got to practice. If you want to move forward, you have to actually move forward. And so one of the greatest things a leader can do is to create an environment where leadership can be practiced and put people in a position of leadership. So your company should have a leadership gym. And that's part of that lead goose saying, hey, listen, I've led long enough. Let's put somebody else in. I need a break. And you move back and you rehabilitate yourself and you get a breath, and then you create another leader, and you keep rotating leaders and developing leaders. Like, I want your company to be so full of leaders. I want every one of your employees to be a leader. Even if they don't have the position as the leader, I want them to have the principles of leadership. And you can only do that if you step out of the way and let them practice leadership. And so, just to recap really quick, geese fly together. They share a common goal and direction. They stay in formation. And whenever they do get out of formation, they get quickly back into it, because it's easier when you're together. It's easier when you're in a formation. Number 3, geese rotate roles. That's what we just talked about. You don't always have to be the leader forever. Develop other leaders. And number 4, geese are noisy. I want y'all to be a little bit more noisy in your business. I want you to communicate. I want you to honk. I want you to encourage. I want you to shout and say, way to go up there. You're doing great. Because when it's your turn to lead, when it's your turn to shine, don't you want the people behind you to say, hey, we got you. We got your back. We're with you. And it's important to know where your team is. And then number 5, leave no goose behind. When one geese falls, when one team member falls, when one church member falls, when one family member falls, when one employee falls, there should be 3 or 4, 2 or 3, 5 or 6, I don't care how many people, that go down with them and support that person to the point of rehabilitation. So geese are loyal. They stand by their flock in good times and bad times. Number 6, they maintain priorities. They stay committed to their team, their core values and purpose. They never change their route. They're always loyal to their core value. And then geese are not scared to be uncomfortable. They're disruptive. So those are the 7 things that we can learn from geese. Now, I want to share with you a program that I just started, and it's in pre-launch mode right now. That means you get it for a discounted price. Regular price is $12,000. And I've created a program that I'm excited about. We call it the 3-month business fast track. I'm not going to talk a lot about this right now. I just want you to be aware of it, because this is a deal that I put together for people that want to have serious conversation about getting their business on track with team members, with personal development. So here's what we have. For 3 months. This is a 3-month program. All of my other programs are 6 months to a year. This is a 3-month program. The first and third Monday of each month, you're going to be invited into a group coaching call. So this will be people that buy this program the first and third Monday of the month. And we're going to go across my Diamond Business Assessment. So there's 6 systems that we're going to cover in this coaching program. Number 1 is marketing. Number 2 is sales. Number 3 is procedures. Number 4 is office and tracking. Number 6 is relationships. And number 7 is leadership. So in 3 months, we're going to go through those 6 systems as a group. I'll be teaching them, and you're going to have a piece of paper with all of these systems in front of you where you can check them off and say, yes, we have it, or no, we don't, and we do need it. Okay, so you're going to go through the 6 systems as we cover that in the first and third Monday of the month. And that's based on the content of my first book, Freedom to Succeed, right back here, if you can see it on the camera. So if you have the book, Freedom to Succeed, that coaching program is based out of that book that I wrote back in 2017. All right. So that's the core of the program. So first and third Monday of every month, we're going to have a group coaching call going through the 6 systems that I talk about in that book. And then I'm going to do one-on-one coaching sessions with each person that buys this program. There's going to be 1 call per month. So you're going to get 3 one-on-one calls, and we're going to cover 3 things on those 3 calls. Number 1, we're going to talk about fear versus faith and how to face your challenges in your business, not with fear, not with anxiety, but with faith. And I call that the FAP principle, FAPP principle. And so here it is right here on the screen. If you can see it on the screen, faith leads to anticipation. Anticipation leads to purpose. Purpose leads to power. Fear leads to anxiety. Anxiety leads to paralysis. And paralysis leads to becoming prey, meaning you're vulnerable and you're liable to be taken out. Okay. The next thing on the next one-on-one coaching call that we're going to cover is one of the most life-changing concepts that I've ever taught or been taught. And this is what we call the 4 levels of value. And each one of these are going to be customized to you specifically in your business and around your challenges. We're going to talk about what it means to be, how it looks to be playing in the implementer stage, in the manager stage, in the communication stage, and also in the imagination stage. All right. So that's one-on-one. So we'll cover the fear and faith principle on our first one-on-one call. Our second one-on-one call, we'll talk about the 4 levels of value: implementer, manager, communicators, and imagination. And then the final month, we're going to be talking about how to shift your leadership. We're going to talk about the 3 things that every great leader does. They inspire, they create, and then they replace. We're going to talk about the 5 actions of a serving leader, and we're going to tie it into your business and your standing in your business specifically. Okay, so that's the program. You get the 3 months of business coaching of the 6 systems. You get 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me, and then after you finish that program, you're going to have a bonus of an extra 3 months to my members only call. Okay. That's the first Tuesday of every month. There's a members only call that we do, and you're going to be invited. You're going to have a special phone number that you can call in, and you can ask questions, you can listen in, and you can do that. Also, with this program, you're going to get a signed copy of my book, Freedom to Succeed. And we're also going to give you the 4 P's to a thriving business during a downturn. And we're going to talk about all of this stuff in our coaching program. So this program is crowded with value, but I wanted to create something that that doesn't take a lot of my time, and therefore I can keep the cost down. And so from now till Monday, so this coming Monday, we have it at a pre-sale price, a pre-launch price of only $10,000. $10,000 gets you in a 3-month coaching program with me, where we cover the 6 systems that I wrote about in my very first book. We cover them in depth. And you're going to get 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me. Plus, after you finish that, you're going to get 3 months access to my members only call. You're going to get a signed copy of my book. You're going to get 4 P's to a thriving business. I'm going to explain what all that is once you buy the program. And everything is on paper. There's nothing electronic about it. You're going to have the opportunity to pick up the phone and call. Or if you want to do Zoom, we can also do Zoom. But it's everything that you need is going to come to you in an envelope with the papers and everything that you need for this program. I'm super excited about it. Here's your chance to get in on coaching, but you better do it quickly, because Monday it jumps up to the regular price of $12,000. So you're saving $2,000 right off the bat by buying the pre-launch part and getting it into it right away. I'm super excited about this program. I hope you join it, and I hope that I see you in what I call the 3-month business fast track. I want your business on track, and I want your business on track fast. And I think this is an opportunity that if you're looking for a business coach with experience of running businesses, listen, I own 5 companies, and I know how to get your business on track. I know how to get your team on mission, vision, and purpose. I know what it takes to get a team on the track, running the right direction, and getting profitable really quickly. So give us a call, 813-580-8920. Again, that number, 813-580-8920. And we're going to get you all set up in that program really quickly for $10,000. I hope to see you soon. Thank you, and God bless you.